Welcome back to another Up and Down Golf video, everybody. This is Nick from Up and Down Golf, and I'm back here at the beautiful Fairways and Greens Golf Center, where I come to practice almost every day, it seems like. Unfortunately, Jacob won't be here for this video. I asked him if he was going to be able to make a video today, and he texted back saying that he was somewhere in the Australian outback on like a walkabout or something like that. And I'm not sure what that's about, but I don't think he's gonna be in a video for like at least 2 or 3 weeks. So it's just gonna be me for the next little while. And I figured I'd start out with a what's in the bag and then also show you guys my distances with all of my clubs. So I guess we'll get right into it. I'm gonna start with my putter. I use the Ping Sigma G. It's a Tine H. It has little things on the back so I can scoop up the ball after I miss. It happens quite frequently. I actually got this used probably like 2 years ago now. It comes with this pistol grip. It's really worn now. I should probably get it re-gripped sometime soon, but the reason I got this one is because the putter that I had before this had it for probably like a decade or more, to be honest. And eventually I missed my final putt with it, and I sent it probably like 75 yards back down the fairway where I came from, and as you could guess, it just broke. And so I was forced to get a new one, and really I put this one pretty well. Putting's always been probably my biggest weakness. I think it's the hardest thing to be good at in golf. And lately I've been putting a lot better than usual. I still can't get all the putts to fall that I want to, but I get really close pretty much all the time with this thing. So I'm hoping with a little bit more practice, it'll come around. I'll get more putts to fall. I'll start shooting lower numbers. But yeah, I really like this putter. I'm kind of glad I broke my other one now, to be honest. Okay, so now we'll move on to the wedges. I'll start with this one. It's a 60 degree. It's a Titleist SM7. I got this from some winnings that I had in a tournament, probably also like 2 years ago. And this thing has a really low bounce. It's only 4 bounce. And so I like playing this one just out of like tight lies, from a nice line in the fairway. Typically I'll hit it if I'm under 85 or 90 yards. This is what I'll pull out if I'm in a pretty tight lie or in the fairway. I like going with this one. Obviously it's a 60 degree. It's the highest degree loft that I carry. So if I'm in a nice lie, I can get it up pretty high. If I'm in the rough, I won't use this because I have a good chance with the bounce so low that it'll just slide right underneath it. I could hit a nice little, I don't know what I would call it, like a low spinner where it'll hit a couple times on the green and just stop, spin backwards. So moving on, like I said, if I'm in the rough, I'm pretty much always going to use this. It's a 56. It has 12 degrees of loft, and it's a TaylorMade. I don't really know much about this club, to be honest, but I actually got this one from Jacob. He sold this to me like also about 2 or 3 years ago now, and I've been using it ever since. It's got a little bit of dents in it. I don't think all of those are from me. They could be, but this is the club that Jacob talks about how shiny it is. And it's no joke, like the sun's not out today, so I can't really show you. But like if the sun is reflecting off of this thing, it's literally blinding. Like it hurts your eyes, you can't see. And so, I mean, Jacob's not kidding about that, but I keep this club really clean. And yeah, like I said, out of the rough, this is what I'm gonna hit. Anywhere under about 110 is when I'll pull this one out. So moving on to the other 2 wedges I carry a gap wedge and a pitching wedge. And they're just standard lofts. The gap wedge is 52, the pitching wedge is 48 degrees. And they're both Cobras. This is how all of my other clubs are gonna be. So they're the King Cobras, 2019 model, so they're a couple years old now. I guess I might be in need for new clubs. It seems like everything I have is like 2 to 3 years old or more. I got personally fitted for all these Cobra clubs. And I mean, this is just gonna be gap through 4-iron, all these Cobras. And I love them. I like how they look. It's just the all black all the way through. Got the little white Cobra Connect tips on them, and I've never used them. You can like track stats and stuff with them, but you have to pay a membership for it too. So I didn't actually go through with that. I thought I was going to, but ended up not doing it. But yeah, I honestly don't know a ton about anything other than like a wedge or a driver in terms of like how the club is made and stuff like that. And I don't think these are steel shaft. I think they're just stiff. I have a pretty high swing speed, but not enough for like the extra stiff or the steel or anything like that. And I could be getting all of this stuff wrong, to be honest, because I don't really know too much about these clubs, even though I've used them for 2 years. I pretty much just went to a fitter. They told me what I needed, and I didn't really ask too many questions outside of the driver, because the driver is obviously the one that's the most fun to hit. I think all of my wedges I have pretty good control with. I hit them pretty straight most of the time. I know I can control them pretty well. Like I can take off like 10% of a swing, know pretty much how far it's gonna go. So, I mean, there's no point in changing clubs right now, I don't think. I mean, this is what I'm gonna roll with. I'll go ahead and show just a couple more of these clubs. This is this is a good one too, because, so here's what they typically look like again. This is the 7-iron, and you see how it has like that nice little back on it. And I'll just show you the back. This is my 6-iron, and I've hit this thing so much that the back has just fallen off. And I mean, it doesn't do anything to the club. It still works just as well. I can still hit it just as far. It's just kind of annoying that the back kind of fell off of it, but I think I can get it fixed for free, honestly. I just haven't had time to do it. But I mean, this 6-iron, I hit this thing so well. Really, 6-iron on down, I'm really confident with. Hit them really well most of the time, and I generate a lot of ball speed. I'm really consistent with those clubs, to be honest, but 4-iron and 5-iron is a different story. Here's the 4-iron. My 4-iron and 5-iron I don't have a great relationship with right now. I mean, if I get good contact, of course, they're gonna go pretty far, but the problem is I just mishit them too much more often than my other clubs. So I try to avoid these as much as I can, which I think is what most golfers do if they're not like already on the tour. I don't think a lot of people like hitting their longer irons, but that's something I'm working on, is getting better with my long irons, because you got to be able to use all your clubs in your bag. I mean, they give you 14 for a reason. They were good enough for me most of the time. It's just the typical amateur just struggles with their long irons sometimes. So moving on to the 3 hybrid, I got this one later, and by the way, I was fitted for everything in my bag except 3 wood, and obviously the putter and the 2 wedges. I wasn't fitted for those. But I got this one a little bit later, probably like 6 months later than the irons, but it is another Cobra. It's from the King F9 series. Same as what my driver is going to be like. 2019. The only difference in this one is this is an extra stiff shaft, and I don't remember exactly why my coach / fitter told me to get extra stiff for the 3 hybrid only, but I hit this thing really well too. It plays at 19 degrees of loft, and the shaft on this thing looks beautiful. There's not really too much more I think I can say about this. If I'm inside of about 230 and outside of about 215, this is when I'll hit the 3 hybrid right now. Okay, so let's move on to the fun clubs now. First up, 3 wood. It's the TaylorMade Sim 2. This thing is beautiful. When I got this, I tested it out at Dick's Sporting Goods on their little monitor things, and I was no joke hitting it like 290 carry on average. I got a few past 300. I haven't hit it quite that far since I got it and played it on the course. I do get it pretty close most of the time. I honestly hit it, when I hit both of them really well, I hit this almost as far as I hit my driver. But this thing is just so pretty, like the top of it, everything about it, the blue color, the way the white turns into black, that finish on the top of the head, the shaft looks nice. I mean, my old 3 wood before I got this one like just a couple months ago really, and the 3 wood I had before that was probably the best club in my bag, but it was like 8 years old or something. It was like a Nike Covert 2 or something like that. I'm still getting kind of used to this one. I don't hit it quite as consistently as I did my old 3 wood, but when I get a hold of one, it goes a lot further, probably like 30-40 yards further at least than my old 3 wood. And so here, the last club number 14, the driver. It's the Cobra King F9. I got it at the same time as I did the irons, got fitted for it. It's a standard, it's at 9 degrees loft, but I played up 1 degree, so I got it at 10 degrees now. And I'm pretty sure the weight here is set for a draw swing. I don't really remember exactly how this thing is set up because I've had it for like 2 years now. But I mean, I really like this. I hit it pretty straight most of the time. It goes far if I catch it well. And I broke my previous driver before this one, but it was not from being angry. The previous driver I had was a Ping G30, and I love that driver. I crushed it dead straight every time. And not even kidding, while I was getting fitted for these new clubs, I swung with the old driver and it snapped in half, halfway up the shaft. It was insane. I've never had that happen to me before. But I think that's all that I was gonna talk about today with my clubs. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over there to that little tent things over there, and I'm gonna go hit on one of the top tracer bays, and I'm gonna get my distances. One thing I will say is that there is some wind coming in to where the top tracers are, so that is going to affect the distances. They're probably going to be like, for most clubs, it's probably going to be like 5 to 10 yards short of what I typically hit it because of the wind. And also the range balls don't go as far either. It's a good like gauge to see how far you're hitting the ball, but when you go out on a course, if you're hitting on a top tracer or something like that with range balls, you're usually going to get at least like 10, maybe more yards depending on the club. When you actually go hit real balls on the course. I've hit on these bays a lot. I know kind of what distance I'm going to get when I go in there, but I know for a fact I get a little bit more distance when I'm on the course, especially with the longer clubs. The range balls are just don't go nearly as far as a normal ball you're going to play with. So I'm going to take 5 swings with each club, get 5 good shots in, solid contact, and it'll show the averages on the screen of my distances, my stats. And when I practice, typically what I look for is ball speed, because like I said, the distance isn't really super accurate compared to like a normal ball, or if there's wind coming one way or the other. But a good way for me to tell if I'm hitting the ball well is by looking at the ball speed. So let's get over there and I'll talk to you guys after I get done hitting. Pretty good consistency with the 60 degree. I typically wouldn't take a full swing with this club during a round. These numbers really don't mean that much to me. I'm typically just taking like feel swings with the 60. The 56 is kind of similar to the 60 degree. It's pretty consistent too. I do take full swings more often with the 56. I'd say 105 is probably the number of a full swing. So this is just going to be the trend with most of these clubs. 110 is pretty low. I usually hit this as far as maybe like 124. It's probably like the maximum I'm going to get out of it. For the pitching wedge, this is also about 10 yards lower than I expect. This is where I start looking at the ball speed to determine if I think the swing is good. I try to get around 100 on the ball speed with pitching wedge, so these numbers are pretty good relative to that. Again here with the 9-iron, I think the ball speed is really good, but I usually get more carry distance out of it. It usually goes closer to 150, maybe like 148 would be kind of my average. So with 8-iron, it's starting to get a little closer to what I would expect on the course. The ball speed here is actually really good. I think anything over 110 for an 8-iron of ball speed is really good for me. I would normally expect to hit it maybe 165 on a good swing. Again, about 10 more yards is what I would be expecting. And the ball speed, again, I really like the ball speed with the 7-iron. I was hitting it really well. Maybe 180 max. I don't usually hit that much more than 180. This is the one I was most surprised with, the 6-iron. On this top tracer, I can hit the 6-iron 200 yards or more. I don't know what it is, but I just crush the 6-iron usually. That ball speed was really good though. It was just similar to the other clubs, the wind was knocking it down. So the 5-iron and 4-iron are where I get a little bit less consistency and I don't hit the ball quite as far as I should be. The ball speed here though is really good, close to 130 for the 5-iron. I would normally expect it around 200 probably. I actually hit this 4-iron more consistently than I thought I would, and I would expect closer to 210 with this thing. And as you can see, the ball speed for this is basically the same as a 5-iron. So I think I was hitting these clubs really well, it just they weren't going quite as far today. Now hybrid is really short compared to where I thought it would be. I think if you change the total distance to carry, I think that'd be pretty accurate. 221 carry is a pretty good number for me. The ball speed was good though, upper 130s, pushing 140. That's really good ball speed for me with the 3 hybrid. I know for a fact I hit this more than 228 carry. The 250 is honestly closer to what I carry it, and I might even carry it further than that on the course. The consistency at 77%, that's honestly pretty good for 3-wood. Driver I was hitting pretty decent. It would go further than 250 carry, but not like a crazy amount more. I don't think I carry a 280 on a consistent basis. I'd say like 270-ish is probably a realistic number for how far I carry it. I do get quite a bit of roll though. I don't hit it too high. I may only carry it like 265, 270, but it typically can roll out to 285, 290, sometimes 300. So like I was saying, the distances were just a little bit less than what I would typically hit on a normal day with a normal ball, just because of the wind and the range balls and the surface of a mat. The balls don't go quite as far from that either. But overall, if you had like 5 to 10 more yards on those clubs, I mean, those are pretty standard from what I would expect to hit on the course. And the ball speed, I was pretty happy with the ball speed for most of the clubs too. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, it's just gonna be me on this channel for a couple weeks probably. I hope Jacob comes back okay. I know there's a lot of dangerous animals in Australia, but he's a survivor. I think he'll make it back safely. So like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you guys next time.